Let me just invite a few people and we can get started. And this thing is not as user-friendly as I would like it to be. I would like Facebook to read my mind when I do something like this and just invite everyone I want invited. That would be the easiest thing. But of course, that would be too easy. And just give me another minute. I'm excited about this. I even got the kids to stay out of the room. That means I'm really excited about this. Wouldn't it be great if Facebook could read your mind? Nearly done. That'll do. Okay. Hi everyone. How are you guys doing? Can you hear me for a start? Because my phone says my connection is weak. So let me know that you can hear me. That light is a bit silly in the back. Just have to try do something about that. Maybe if I turn it off. Anna, can you hear me okay? This'll do. I'll just hold it. That's the easiest thing. Good. I'll just hold it. It's easy, so don't mind the shaking. How is everyone? I'm glad you could make it. So I'm going to let's talk. Oh, look. I thought I had the kids gone, but they always find you. They always find you. Thank you. So let's talk about fat. I wanted to talk about fat this evening and just fill everyone in on the whys, the whats and the hows. And because I had a feeling I would get interrupted, as usual, I wrote out some notes so I can stay on track. Hi, Chantal. Okay, yes.
Can I use the letter now?
In a minute. Can you go downstairs for a minute?
Why do that?
So I have some notes and I have some stuff on my laptop. I'm going to try and stay on track as much as I can. I just have two of my favorite products that I want to show you, which most people will not explain to you what they are. And when I say most people, I mean most coaches or nutrition workers won't explain what stuff is specifically. So I have two of my favorite products that I use and they help me perform on an optimum level. So I'm going to show you what they are. So first we're going to talk about what is fat, then we're going to talk about how does it work, and then we're going to talk about the best fats and why you need them. So fat is so important. If any of you at any stage have a question, you know how Facebook Live works. I can see it down the bottom and I'll answer as soon as I can. I'm going to try and stick to the time. So if anyone wants to volunteer and let me know when it's like 8 o'clock or 8:10, do. Otherwise I ramble on, especially when I'm passionate about something. I will ramble a lot. Okay, so let's go. What is fat? Fat basically, it's an energy molecule. Fat has got a bad rap because of its name. It's fat. And many people think that when we eat fat, we get fat, which is so far from the truth, it's unreal. If you think that by eating fat you're going to get fat, it's the same as thinking that if you eat blueberries you're going to turn blue, which we all know that doesn't happen. We know there's many different types of fats, so which fat should you be eating that's not going to make you fat? We know that trans fats and bad fats contribute to making us fat, but the good fats, as everyone throws around the word lately, good fats don't make us fat. They're good for us. But why are good fats good for us, and how are they good for us, and what exactly are they? So fat is an energy molecule. Realistically, a good marketing strategy would be to not promote protein, carbohydrates and fats into your diet, but if they approach it correctly, we would say get protein, nutrients, and energy into your diet, because fat is energy. So getting energy into your diet is a big priority to us. So let me just take care of this. Can you bring this downstairs, please?
Why?
Because I said so. Because I said so. Because I'm the boss. Okay. So, dietary fats are critical for pretty much all bodily functions, but especially your brain. If you think of fat as brain food, because that's what it is. Fat is brain food. Fat is food for your nervous system, for your endocrine system. Fat is basically what wraps and insulates your nerves. So if you think of fat like that, as when you approach fat, when I teach my people that when we approach food or anything that kind of goes into your mouth, it goes into your mouth for a reason. When we eat, it has a reason and a job. That's why we do it. So when we think of fat as, this is how I think of fat, is that I'm feeding my brain cells, I'm lubricating my joints, I'm making sure that my nervous cells are well insulated and well taken care of. So that's what my approach to fat and why we want to get fat in. So where are we? The largest structural amount of fat within your body is generally the fat in between the membranes of your brain cell and the membrane, like I said, that surrounds your nervous system and down through your spinal column. So you've got a lot of fat going on there. So thinking that that's why we need fat, that is one of the key players why we need fat. Good fats are going to help with hormonal balance, they're going to help with brain cell activity, function, and reproduction. Also your endocrine system, which helps your hormones travel properly through your body. That if we think of fat as what's going to maintain all that and keep it working properly, then that's how we're going to approach the fats that we put into our mouth. We know this is going to help me here, this is going to help me here, and so on. And that's the same way I approach everything to do with nutrition. So when we think of fat for fat loss, what we're thinking of is fat, basically, the proper fats that you get, they're either short chain fats or long chain fats. So good fat depends on basically the tail of the fat. It's what it's called. A fat molecule looks like a mouse, so it has the round body and then it has that tail. So the tail, or what you may have heard it called before, the chain, is what we're looking at. So the shorter that tail or chain, the more beneficial and stable that fat is for us. So we're looking at the chain and we're looking at the stability of the fat. When we look at stability of fats, it means, can this fat be compromised by or oxidized by an outside source? So when a fat is very stable, it means there's no room for it to be broken down or oxidized. It's compact, it's strong, it's stable, and they are your short chain fatty acids and your medium chain, which are very stable. And of course we want them because we don't want to be, as much as possible, taking in food. Can you hear me? Sorry, Jocelyn, I just saw that. Can you hear me, Jocelyn? You don't want to be taking in fats that can be easily oxidized. When we take in fats that can be easily oxidized, then they're going to lead to a lot of inflammation and hormonal imbalances and make you feel groggy and gross. Good, you can hear me now. That's good. Okay, so by eating more healthy fats, what we're doing for weight loss, we're allowing, or we're enabling our liver to produce a chemical called glucagon. So glucagon actually is produced in the liver instead of insulin. So when we produce glucagon in the liver through consuming good fats, we're limiting our production of insulin. But what glucagon does, glucagon is this hormone or chemical that sends a signal to your body to say, let's use body fat for fuel or energy instead of whatever else is floating around. So we're going to attack that body fat and we're going to shuttle it into your muscles, and we're going to use that as an energy source. So we want to obviously increase our amount of glucagon that's floating through our body. And that's what happens when we're taking in fats. Excuse me.
What?
So using the correct type of fats, though, that's where it comes in. Don't worry, Celine, I'm glad you're here. Using the correct type of fats, that's where we're looking at where we can kind of biohack our diet and upgrade what we're taking in so that we're working kind of on an upper level. If you ever played Mario when you were younger, or at any stage, even now, if you play Mario and you know when you hit that box and you've got one up, so that's what the good fats do. They're giving you that one up. They're taking you to the next level. So when you're taking in proper, stable, high quality, good grade fats, that's where we're looking at. Generally, what I recommend is when you're approaching fat, you're looking at 50 to 70% of your diet every day that you're taking in of good fats. And this percentage, so between 50 and 70% of dietary fat a day, is what's going to optimize your hormonal production and your brain function, and your performance as well. Like, performance on every level goes up a notch when we start taking our fat into that 50 or 70% range every day. There are some exceptions, and I'll get to them, but just understanding as well that different types of fat affect our body differently. So I'm going to get into this a little more detail, and it'll hopefully help you understand. Sorry, I'm thirsty today. It'll help you understand fats a little bit more and how they work. So fat as a molecule, we've got it, looks like a mouse. It's got its tail. The tail is very important. So the shorter the tail of the fat, not that you're going to be looking at molecules, but if anyone ever says it to you, now you're going to understand. The shorter the tail on that mouse, the better the fat is. Medium is good, but we know long chain or long tail fatty acids, we want to avoid them as much as possible. So we're looking at the shorter chain fatty acids, which most of you do get in your diet, but you're not necessarily aware of it. So most of the short chain fatty acids generally come from the likes of butter and MCT oil. So MCT oil is a medium chain triglyceride. Okay, so and the thing with MCT oil is, you've heard that MCTs can be found in coconut oil. MCTs can be found in coconut oil, but the thing with MCTs that are in coconut oil, their processing quality and their bioavailability, so how we take them up, is not as good as, say, if you bought pure MCT oil. And even at that, when you buy pure MCT oil, you need to be looking for a specific MCT oil so that your body assimilates or uptakes it a lot better. So the best MCT oils, and Tristan, I know you bought an MCT oil. You're looking for ones and they'll say MCT oil C8 or C10. So they're the best that you want in an MCT oil. Most MCT oils don't get it. If you buy a poor quality MCT oil, it'll say C17 on the back. You do not want C17 in your MCT oil because it doesn't get broken down by our stomach or our digestive system properly, and it can cause some gut issues and diarrhea. A lot of people will experience diarrhea if they take MCT oil and it's a poor quality MCT oil. So you're looking for an MCT oil that's C8 and C10. It's rare that you'll find an MCT oil that's just C8 unless you purposefully go looking for it. And they can be a little bit more expensive. Now, why would you want a C8? C8 is one of the highest grade MCT oils that you can get, medium chain triglycerides. if you make, for instance, a bulletproof coffee without an MCT oil, it's not a bulletproof coffee. It's a lower grade bulletproof coffee. People still call it bulletproof coffee, but it's not the genuine article. Now this is what I use. This is called XCT oil. Now what makes XCT oil different from MCT oil? So the MCT oil that say Tristan bought will have C8 and C10 in it. So it's good. It's still pretty good. I mean, that C8 and C10, the C10 goes straight to your brain. It feeds your brain. It gets everything working. The C8 is going to send signals to your fat cells to say, let's get these fat cells moving and use them for energy, so they get shuttled into your muscles. Good, Jocelyn. But the XCT oil, now that is a higher grade. It means it's being distilled differently. It's got a higher grade and percentage of C8 and C10 in it, that this one will get uptaken or assimilated better than, let's say, the one Tristan has, which is just a generic one. This one will get pretty much shuttled straight to where it needs to go. But this is also another one that I use. Now I'm just telling you so you're aware. If anyone ever asks you, you kind of know how it works. This one I use is called Brain Octane. Brain Octane is the purest form of C8 that you can get. It pretty much does what it says. This Brain Octane, it goes straight to my brain, and it is octane. You can pretty much feel the effects of Brain Octane within 30 minutes of consuming it. So Brain Octane or XCT oil, I use both. I'll swap between them depending on what my needs are each day. And I have MCT oil downstairs, and I also have coconut oil. They'll go in like my bulletproof coffee. If I'm looking for extra weight loss, if I'm looking to just shed an extra few calories, I will put 15 mils of either one of those MCT oils, so them fatty oils, will go into a tea before bed. So that means they get shuttled straight through my body, straight to my brain, straight to sending signals saying, let's burn body fat tonight now while we're asleep doing repairs and fixing everything. Let's go take the body fat and use that as energy. Especially effective if you're in an intermittent fasting state or some sort of fasting state or zone. The MCT oil is going to be very beneficial for telling your body, like, you're low on energy now because we haven't ate, we're in a fasting state, so we're going to use now fat cells, stored fat, as energy. So they're like, that's where the Brain Octane and MCT oil and XCT oil and coconut oil comes into it. They're going to send out those signals. If you think of them like messengers, that's how it's going to work. But different fats react. These fats are very stable. These fats are not inflammatory. These fats are magic. That's what they are. You feel the effects of them straight away. Fat is very, very important. For us as women with hormones, like, we're very, very complex species. We've got hormones left, right and center, and we've got an extra truckload of hormones at least once a week, and controlling them and managing them, because hormones are everything to us. Hormones obviously tell us we can reproduce. Hormones control how we process thoughts, how we feel, our mood. Hormones control whether or not we burn fat. The secret to fat loss is actually hormones. If you can control your hormones, you can control your body weight and how you burn fat. So why wouldn't you want to have good, pretty much the key to fat loss in the form of good fats in your hands? Of course you want them in your diet. They're not going to make you fat. Some fats will make you fat. I'll go into that in a minute. But these fats don't. So stability is very important. The stability of a fat. So you've heard of saturated fats. That means they're basically very, very stable. They're saturated. There's no room for them to be oxidized or damaged. So the more saturated a fat is, the better it is for you, the more stable it is to cook with, because it'll cook to a high temperature without getting damaged or broken down. When fat gets damaged or broken down, that's where free radicals occur. That's where the oxidation occurs. That's where your cells are getting damaged, and we don't want that. So we want to be working with higher fats as much as possible. Like, oxidation comes from trans fats. That's what, like, A&W and margarine, and they're all trans fats. So burgers that you usually get from the likes of McDonald's and A&W that may not have the best integrity, and maybe kind of cutting back on a bit of money by using hydrogenated fats and margarine to cook with, they're pretty much broken fats. They've been damaged. They're not stable. And they're the ones that are going to go after your good cells and make them bad. And we know that when good cells get damaged, that's where disease stems from. That's where cancer grows, is from a damaged cell. That's pretty much what cancer is. It's a formation of damaged cells. So I know you've got to live, but being aware of this, like, have McDonald's once in a while, have A&W once in a while, never have margarine, because there's no reason for you to have margarine. Always go for the real butter. Grass-fed butter obviously is best. Unsalted is best. Avoiding them as much as possible to, one, optimize your hormones and how they work, your fat burning abilities, but also your health, like you're living longer. Like, if, I don't know about you guys, but I don't plan on aging gracefully. My sister says I don't plan on aging at all. She may be right. But knowing that bad fats and certain type of fats contributing to faster aging, I'm avoiding them like the plague. There's no way I'm eating them. So saturated fats are your more stable fats that you should be cooking with, like coconut oil, like grass-fed butter, as you know, like ghee, as you know. And some of you probably going to fall off your chair right now, because one of my clients did one time. Lard. If you find lard and you have lard lying around from animal fats that you may have cooked, keep that. That's good. That's good for cooking with. Use that to cook with. Obviously, and I hope you guys would be going for grass-fed and organic meats where you can, because they can be hard to come by. Because knowing that if an animal has been fed toxins or any sort of chemicals, or corn, which primarily contains a lot of toxins, then that animal is consuming them toxins, and most of the toxins or chemicals that an animal eats get stored in its fat cells. So while you'll be cooking bacon and pork and beef, and yeah, the fat is good, a lot of that fat may contain toxins. But still, in saying that, if you can't find organic or grass-fed or pasteurized, getting the generic minced beef or ground beef is going to be just as beneficial. Just to give your cells that insulation that they need, and your brain that food that it needs, and still giving out that signal that your body wants to hear. Basically, your body wants to know what to do, and fat is a message. So when we consume the fat, it's saying, well, let's go take this extra fat that's maybe here under your arms or on your butt or on your thighs, and we're going to shuttle that into your muscles, and we're going to use that for energy. And by controlling that, then we don't get as many cravings either, because fat as a food source can control cravings, because it's controlling our hormones. And cravings, if you watched the sugar workshop I did a few weeks ago, cravings, as we know, are chemical reaction. Chemical reaction in your brain knows you've just had sugar, it knows that you need to go find it, and so on. So if you didn't watch that, go back and watch it. It was pretty awesome. So saturated fats are great. Monounsaturated fats, they're not as stable, but they're still okay. Then polyunsaturated fats. They're the fats that we want to try avoid as much as possible. So polyunsaturated fats are your broken fats that are found in margarine and all hydrogenated fats like sunflower oil, vegetable oil, canola oil. Like in this day and age, canola oil is still being sold on the shelves. Like, it's insane. When I walked through Superstore the other day, they had an offer on for these like 4-liter canola oils, like buy it for $6 or whatever, and people were just picking it up and walking off. And it just blows my mind that people don't understand what they're doing. And then you hear, oh, so-and-so was just diagnosed with cancer, or so-and-so was just diagnosed with heart disease, or so-and-so has Alzheimer's or rheumatoid arthritis. And to me, I'm like, it's not surprising. These stores are pushing all these products that are making people sick, basically. So-and-so is overweight, but it's not their fault because these stores are pushing vegetable oils because you think vegetable oil is good for you. It's made from vegetables. It's not made from vegetables. It's not made from a broccoli. It's not made from cauliflower. It's a broken fat atom. That's what it is. And that's it. What it's going to cause is disease and obesity and memory loss and inflammation and just all this horrible stuff. So avoid them where you can, except there are 2 exceptions in polyunsaturated fats. And I think there's going to be a few aha moments here, because people hear EPA, DHA, omega-3, omega-6. We hear it thrown around all the time, but do you really know what it is? You hear you should take fish oil every day, but do you really know why you should take fish oil or what type of fish oil? So omega-3s, they're the good fats. They're your best friend fats. Omega-3s are the ones that help regulate hormones and blood flow and how your heart functions. Omega-3 helps control the likes of autoimmune diseases like lupus. Omega-3s are great for helping control that. Omega-3s are great for eczema, and again, all forms of arthritis are great with omega-3s. Omega-3 is an anti-inflammatory or anti-inflammatory, so that means you don't get that inflamed or burning or pain sensation around joints or ligaments. So taking in omega-3s, like omega-3s is what you want. A headache, when anyone has a headache, I automatically know it's an inflammation of the brain. It's an inflammation of your brain cells, so they all swell and they start to hurt and they start rubbing off each other and you get this horrible pressure in your brain. That's inflammation of the brain. So understanding what can help with that is very important. So omega-3s daily in your diet is going to be important. Then omega-6, both of them are essential fats, which means we need them to survive. They're the only polyunsaturated fats that we need to survive and to live off. We can't produce them ourselves. They're essential. We need to take them in a food form. So omega-3s, yeah, they're great. Omega-6, not as great, but we still need them. So omega-6, they're more inflammatory. They cause an inflamed reaction. So we want to be watching how we're taking in the omega-6s. In an ideal world, the ratio should be 4:1 for omega-6 to omega-3. Some people say, and this is kind of where I would go because I'm not ever going to age ever, I would go with a 1:1 ratio. But realistically nowadays, manufacturers pump food so much full of omega-6s that our ratios can be as high as 20:1. So that's 20 parts omega-6 to 1 part omega-3 you're getting into your diet. So if you think about that, you're just taking in a hell load of inflammatory, not inflammatory, and then one little anti-inflammatory, and that one little anti-inflammatory needs to go to your brain, and it needs to do what it has to do. So the inflammatories, the omega-6s, are taken over, and we don't want them to take over, especially for fat loss, because when we get inflamed, our body will store toxins. When our body stores toxins, it struggles to lose fat or burn fat for energy. So keeping that in mind. So we minimize omega-6, but remember that we do need some omega-6 for brain function, muscle growth, and for hormone production. So not hormone regulation or balance, but for hormone production, omega-6 is important. So what we're getting from our omega-3s and omega-6, well, we're getting EPA and DHA. You've heard from them. So they're the essential fats that come from animal fats. This is where taking in ghee and grass-fed butter and fatty meats. Bacon is good. Beef is good, pork is really good, making sure you're getting it pasteurized where you can. Organ meats are going to be good. Taking in that sort of stuff is going to be great for you, and great for taking your brain up to that next level. When your brain is on that next level, you have more control with, Roman, turn that down. You have more control with cravings and your food choices as well. Thanks, Candace. We're nearly finished. But then, oh, here's one for you. If anyone's vegan or vegetarian out there, you're probably going to hate me for saying this, but I do feel like it needs to be brought to light. So ALA is another form of fats. ALA passes as an omega-3, but ALA itself doesn't get broken down and absorbed by the body properly. So you've heard vegans or vegetarians and so on promote, oh, get your chia and flax seeds into your body or into your diet because it's packed full of omega-3s. That's actually a lie. Although chia seeds and flax seeds have got omega-3 in them, they're in the form of ALA. The body can only break down 8% of ALA to turn it into DHA, and DHA is what we utilize. That's what we use. So when you add in chia seeds and flax, yeah, you're getting some omegas, but you're only getting a teeny tiny amount. Take it downstairs, please. Sorry about that. You're only getting a teeny tiny amount because... Roman, stop it. You're only getting a small amount. Thanks, Amanda. They throw you off. Sometimes I wonder, why did I have kids? They just throw you off. So chia and flax, they're still great to get into your diet. They still have got a good nutrient profile, but you're not getting the omegas that you thought you could, because the only animals that can really break down ALA properly are generally rodents like mice and rats. And unfortunately, we're not them. We're humans, and we can only break down ALA in the tiniest commodity. So still getting your chia and flax into your yogurts, and it's still a filling food for you. It's that it's just being told that they're very high in omega-3s when they're actually not. And DHA is what we're looking for. So animal fats are very, very important there. Getting your animal fats in. And coconut oil is going to be a great one as well for that. Even though it's not an animal, it's still going to be, you're still going to uptake or assimilate it properly. Those medium chain triglycerides are going to get broken down. Okay, so what you're doing then is, hi Laura, I suppose you're looking for the ratio and you're looking for your good animal fats as much as possible. What are the best fats to get into your body? Okay, well, obviously these would be two of my favorite. So I like to take my brain to the next level. for you guys. So when I read something or when I look at some new studies or I'm doing research on anything, I don't want to just look on it. I want to be able to recall it. These help with my ability to recall information that I have taken in and then deliver it to you. So that's basically what bringing in the good fats does. Then your coconut oil is going to be great. You're getting your medium chain triglycerides. You're not getting as high a quality as you would if you bought MCT oil, but you're still getting that saturated fat that's going to be great for your heart health. It is going to send that message to your fat cells and tell them, look, let's take this fat from your butt and we're going to use this as energy today. Especially good if you're, like I said, intermittent fasting or doing a warrior fast or in any sort of fat zone. Taking in MCT oil or XCT oil or coconut oil in that state is going to deliver you with better results. Basically, you're going to get better results. When you bring in higher fat, you're getting better results. Then you're stepping over to kind of plant form saturated fats. You're looking at avocado, which is one of the most saturated fats, and walnuts. So these two, walnuts not as great as avocado, but they're still pretty good. So cooking with these two is going to be a good option. They have a very high smoke point like coconut oil does, so they're going to be your options for cooking. You're going to stick with coconut oil, avocado oil, walnut oil if you can get your hands on it, although walnut oil is very pungent. It has a strong taste. Ghee, unfed, unsalted, grass-fed butter and lard is going to be great for you cooking with, and that's going to be your brain food, and they're going to be your messengers to your hormones. Can you get too much fat? Too much good fat? Generally not. But then on a genetic level, Anna, some people respond differently to fat. So one person I could put on a high fat diet and they don't respond well at all to it. It makes them feel like crap. They get a lot of diarrhea. I didn't mean... That wasn't supposed to be a joke, it just came out. They don't sleep well, they don't respond well to it. So sometimes you've got to keep an eye on someone's reaction. So if I was working with a new client, I'd watch how they react over the first few days, what their markers are, any kind of telltale signs that they might have. But generally, you're looking at 50 to 90% fat, or 50 to 70% fat is what you want to stay in that range. So if, say, my girls are on a refeed day is when we're bringing our carbohydrate level up to kind of feed our hormones and just stimulate more hormonal production, then I will take their fats down, because carbohydrates damage good fats. So sugars damage good fats. Sugar in the carbohydrates and sugar in anything is going to turn good fat bad. Bad fat is the fat that sticks to your body. So remembering that if my girls are taking in a higher, or even myself, we're on a higher carbohydrate day, I'm going to take that fat right down to about 10%. So it's going to be pretty low. And that 10% might just be my bulletproof coffee that morning, or it might just be, for instance, if I've had a higher carbohydrate day, I know there's going to be a lot of inflammation, but I took those carbohydrates in for a reason, to help stimulate the production of mucus and extra hormones throughout my body and keep my menstrual cycle running nice and smoothly. I'll take my fat down, but I know I'm going to be inflamed, so what I'll do is I'm going to hit that inflammation before bed with a turmeric tea, but I'm also going to add in one of these or some coconut oil into my turmeric tea. So they're going to bring that inflammation right down, but they're going to send out the right signals, so those carbohydrates get sent to the correct places, and then all that reparative and reconstruction action gets done while I'm asleep. So that's where my way of teaching is different, in that when I look at a food or I look at what I've taken in or what's happening with my body, then I know what tools or what weapons have I got in my armory, that now I can hit that food and hit this process and send it where I want it to go, not where the food wants to go. So if I take in carbohydrates, for instance, Julianne asked me this earlier, when I take in carbohydrates, the carbohydrate wants to turn into sugar. It wants to turn into fat on my body. It wants to cause inflammation. It wants to make me feel groggy and crappy the next morning and make me lethargic. And that's what the food wants to do, but what I want the food to do is something totally different. So when I take in carbohydrates, I'm going to also pair those carbohydrates with apple cider vinegar and some cinnamon. Generally I'll take them in at the same time, so that them carbohydrates go and do what I want them to do. I want those carbohydrates to not hit my liver. I don't want to increase my blood sugar levels. I want those carbohydrates and that sugar to be shuttled into my muscles, into muscle glycogen, into liver glycogen where there's any left, and be used for energy. I don't want them used and turned into fat. That's why I will kind of hack my diet. I'll hack what's going on and send it to where I want to go. And then if I've had carbohydrates or things got a little crazy that day, I'll try have apple cider vinegar before bed, because it'll help my body metabolize sugars while I'm asleep. But then the turmeric tea and the fats in the tea are going to help with the inflammation and how my body will utilize all the nutrition going through my body. So does that make sense? That when I look at food, it has a reason, but I know how to hack certain stuff so that I get the best benefit from it, so I kind of optimize my results. So then, just moving on, because I have a tendency to ramble, the next fats are going to be raw nuts. In particular, I try to stick with macadamia, walnut, pecans, and Brazil nuts are my favorite, especially if you're trying to prevent aging. Brazil nuts are going to be amazing for your skin and hair. Macadamia, the fattiest nut out there, is going to be amazing. They did find a new nut recently, and it hasn't been too well documented or studied, but they're saying, I can't even remember the name of it, I'll find out. They're saying it's the fattiest nut ever been found ever. It's a new nut, and hopefully we see it on the shelf soon. Maybe not in others, but Community's pretty good. They might have it. Seeds, my favorite seeds then are going to be pumpkin and sunflower seeds are going to be my favorite. Obviously raw, unsalted are going to be the best. Pumpkin seeds are packed full of calcium and magnesium. Calcium, we know that we need for optimal performance and for brain function and for regenerating new cells. Magnesium we need to help us, pretty much magnesium contributes to over 200 reactions or functions and processes in your body, as well as contributes to good quality sleep. If you're not getting good quality sleep, you are not going to burn fat the way you want to, because that has a whole ripple effect. It's too long to get into. I did a 3-part series on my podcast. Check it out. Can anyone tell me what time it is? What time are we looking at now? So when we're looking at fish, wild fish where you can, salmon, mackerel is especially great, anchovies, and thanks Candace. Anchovies and sardines are another great fish source that you can use. Thanks Tara. Then we're going to look at your fattier meats, where you can get them. Organ meats are amazing. Liver and kidney where you can. I'm a kidney fan. I like kidney. They've got the good fatty acids stored, but they're also packed full of nutrients. So packed full of nutrients. Hey Susie. I like to cook a lot of ground beef. I like to keep the fat off it. I cook a lot of butcher's bacon where I can. I feed my kids a lot of bacon. I try to watch for nitrates as much as I can, but they're still growing kids and I still want to feed their brain and help them regenerate new cells. So I incorporate as much fat into their diet as I can. That's very important. When I make their sandwiches or whatever, I try to make liver heart or chicken hearts. I've never had chicken hearts. Sorry to digress, and I've never had chicken hearts. When I make my kids sandwiches for schools, I generally use seeded or sprouted bread, so we know we're getting all that crazy nutrition. Yeah, there's some carbs there. Yeah, it's not what I'd like it to be, but it's still better than buying your generic whole grain or whole wheat. So sprouted or seeded breads, they're getting the nutrition. Sprouted obviously being the better choice because it's super duper nutritious, but I'm putting my unsalted grass-fed butter on that. So my kids are getting a lot of fat. I give my kids Lara bars as well. So anyone I work with, you'll know I'm a big promoter of a Lara bar. A Lara bar has a high fat content as well, which is good. The coconut cream one obviously being the better choice, but I like the peanut butter one as well for a good option. I don't recommend peanuts generally when I work with people because peanuts and women don't really go hand in hand. Peanuts will cause chemical reactions and irritants in your gut and digestive system. So their fat content isn't even that great. Like, they're not great for fatty acids. But once peanuts start causing a reaction in your gut or your digestive tract, that's when it's going to start causing issues with your thyroid. So especially clients that I have that have thyroid issues, I'll get them to avoid peanut butter as much as possible or peanuts as much as possible. Try to stick to macadamia, Brazil nuts, walnuts, pecans. Almonds are okay. Pistachios are good. Jade will be glad to hear that. Pistachios are good as much as you can, making sure that you're getting fat. Like Tara, I was saying to you, because you do a lot of running in the morning and you do a lot of marathons, I would be recommending to you, if we work together, I would be saying have your tea before bed and putting in some sort of fat into it. So that fat, and also I mentioned to you honey, the fat and the honey, they're going to fill your liver glycogen stores. So when you do get up to run the next morning, you've got that energy that you need. You're running off a proper fuel. So that's something I would recommend to you. Almond butter is great. It's not as good as macadamia and Brazil nuts, but it's still got a good source of fat. A lot better than peanut butter. Almond butter would be a better one. You can also get sunflower butter and you can make butter out of anything pretty much. Raw honey is amazing, but that's not a fat. That's another story. But yeah, there are all the fats that you really should be focused on right now. There is a lot of them. Like, if you ever come across a fat and you've got a question about it, hit me up with a picture or ask me a question and I'll say yay or nay. Cashew is amazing, Anna. We talked about that yesterday. Cashew is a great option. I love cashew cheese. I like cashew milk. It's extra creamy. I have a cashew sour cream recipe that I like to make. Cashews are a great option. Cashew pancakes are good. You can make cashew pancakes out of cashew flour, which is pretty good. Oh, and one of the most important facts, I nearly forgot. How did you guys not even tell me? Because this week in the HIITA Guide, Module 5, the bonus module was how to make real chocolate at home. And one of the foundational ingredients is one of the best fats on the whole planet, cacao butter. Cacao butter is an incredible fat. That one, cacao butter, is higher in omega-3s. It's a great moisturizer. It's a great lotion. It's an aphrodisiac. If you rub it on your skin close to your man, you can watch what happens. Cacao butter smells amazing. Cacao butter can be added to coffee and tea. It can be incorporated into a bulletproof coffee as well. Cacao butter is an awesome option. You can cook with cacao butter. So if you made some cashew pancakes, Anna, you could cook them or fry them in cacao butter. It's stable, it's not going to break down, and your pancakes are going to get this lovely chocolatey flavor as well. You can even, now believe me, you gotta trust me, you can use cacao butter as a toothpaste. So cacao butter is such a superfood and has such crazy antibacterial and antimicrobial properties that you can use it as a toothpaste, and it's incredible. It helps kill off bacteria, it helps strengthening the teeth and the gums, it helps with cavities, it helps tooth decay. There's so much. Fat is incredible. Cacao butter, Tara, Nutters had it the other day and then they sold out of it. So Community you can get it in, or you can get it from the Light Cellar in the city, Community Foods. But I'm assuming Nutters will have it back soon. I know myself and Tristan and Candace were looking for it. I saw it on Tuesday and then like a day later it was gone. But when you buy cacao butter, you generally buy it in a big bag, and then you only need like a half a cup or whatever for, say, make your own chocolate. You'd use half a cup. Yeah, they sold out on Wednesday or Thursday. That place is kind of bugging me lately because they sell out stuff so quickly, especially, not to toot my own horn, but the more people I work with, the more of my favorite products are getting sold out and they're not stocking them back up quick enough, which kind of bugs me. So another great source of fat again is bone broth. Is going to be amazing for fat. Bone broth is such a super duper crazy incredible nutritious food, very versatile. Bone broth is packed full of amazing fats, but it's an amazing source of protein because the primary protein in bone broth is collagen. Collagen keeps us looking young. Collagen feeds our ligaments, keeps everything working smoothly. Collagen feeds our brain cells, helps us build new fibers. Like, collagen's amazing. I try to put collagen in tea and coffee and everything as much as I can because I maybe I'm looking for that fountain of youth and I'm never going to grow old, but collagen is definitely one of my key tools. Now, as well, I wanted to show you guys this. You've seen me sipping on this. I always get dehydrated when I talk. I always drink out of glass. Always drink out of either glass or sterling or stainless steel. Now this has an orange tinge to it, and it's water. Believe me, it's water, and my kids didn't get their hands on my drink. I struggle with water in the winter big time, like crazy big time. I have to set alarms, I have to pinch myself, I have to ask someone to remind me. Like, just water and me in the snow just don't go well. I drink a lot of tea. I drink like 4 to 6 cups of tea a day. I drink a lot of tea. I drink a lot of sparkling water. But also, I try different hacks that I can get water into me that aren't going to be high in sugar. As great as infused water is, that sugar still gets drawn into the water. So infused water, it's great. I'd rather you did that than nothing. But that sugar gets drawn into the water. So what I'll do is, lately I've been adding lemon essential oil into my water to give it that lovely kind of taste and makes it go down a lot smoother. And I go for it quicker. So if I'm in the gym, I'll go for the water if it has something in it. So essential lemon oil goes in my water. Or this. This is a vitamin C tablet. That's what this is. So vitamin C tablet dissolved in the water. So one of those effervescent ones. Vitamin C is probably the most important vitamin we can take in along with vitamin D. Vitamin C pretty much is what helps us stay healthy and helps our immune system. But for women, vitamin C is so important. Vitamin C helps us with PMS symptoms, but it also helps us with reproduction. It helps us with, if anyone has fibroids out there or any sort of candida, vitamin C is very important for that. If you've got any sort of PMS like syndrome, like really bad cramps and heavy bleeding and mood swings and cysts or anything like that, upping your vitamin C is going to help you a lot. So the recommended daily allowance now, I don't even know what it is, 700 to 1,000 milligrams. What we want is to be like tripling that amount. You want a lot of vitamin C. It's insoluble, so you can't overdose on it. When you take in too much vitamin C, you're just going to pee it out or sweat it out. But when you actually need vitamin C and you have all these abnormalities or irregularities going on and you take in more vitamin C, it's going to keep everything running a lot more smoother, especially in the form of infertility. Taking in proper vitamin C or proper amounts like 7,000 milligrams sounds crazy. it's not soluble, but your body will take what it needs out of it. So if you're deficient anywhere in vitamin C, getting in extra vitamin C is going to be great. So, I mean, it makes my water taste nicer. It's not doing me any harm. If anything, it's benefiting me, but that's just another hack that I use. And that's it. I think I've pretty much covered pretty much everything. There are other fats out there. If I haven't mentioned them, it's because they're the type of fats that I'd like you to stay away. Canola oil particularly. Palm oil is not that bad, but avoid where you can. Stick to the ones that I've recommended to you. We know now how fat works, how it sends signals, how it tells your body what to do, how it helps, how the mouse tail works. So shorter the mouse tail, the better. Does anyone have any questions? Julianne, I'll be adding a link to my website soon on where you can order this. I got this in Community. You might be lucky enough to still find it, but I'll add a link and you can order it there as well. It's like totally worth it, especially with anyone with underlying issues that's anything to do with autoimmune disease or anything. That's going to be great. Actually, if you have kids and your brain doesn't function properly, you need some brain octane. That's what you need. You need brain octane. I was speaking to someone the other day and they had 5 kids. They need like a gallon of brain octane. So, has anyone got any questions? Do you find this helpful? Do you understand fats a little bit more now and how they work? And that if someone asks you a question, you can say, well, fats help with this. And fats are basically messengers that tell my body what to do. You're welcome. Do you have any questions, Julianne? I know you always have questions for me. And that's it. Like, I should hope that you're more confident when you go to choose fats and anything like that. They should be the main part of your diet. Before we go, some people ask me about macros, how to count macros. I generally don't count macros, but if I was to count macros on a basis of fats and proteins and carbohydrates, I'd probably have my fat around 60, I'd have my protein then around 25, and then my carbohydrates around 15. That's what I would do with that. Okay, I think that's it, otherwise I'll ramble all night. You got any questions, just reach out and ask me, and have a great night, everyone. I hope you're a bit more prepared when you look at this week, when you're preparing for the week. One I forgot to mention, just popped into my head, was eggs. Pasteurized, free-range, organic eggs where possible. They're great for omega-3 fats. Keep the yolk. Keep the yolk. Eat the whole egg, not just the whites. Keep the whole egg, okay? Don't even worry about cholesterol. That's not even a topic anymore. So bye, everyone. Bye, Susie. Bye, Julianne. Bye, Tara. Bye, Candace. Bye, Amanda. Bye, everyone that's hopped on. Have a good night. Bye.